There was a group called the 302 Improvement Committee that resulted in the Route 302 Improvement Project, which was about 15 years ago. And so when I came to town at that time, it was already underway and happening. So once we did the improvements, which included sidewalks, it included ornamental gardens, street lighting, a number of functional improvements and aesthetic improvements for the corridor. But what we didn't really anticipate was the cost of the maintenance of the ornamental gardens. So what we ended up doing with the help of our then state representative, Mike McClellan, was to come up with a public-private partnership which employed volunteers, such as the current day Beautification Committee members. Some have carried through since the very beginning. And so they would work collaboratively with business owners, property owners along the 302 corridor, and then most recently with some input from the town, some part-time help from the town. So what we have is this public-private partnership that's carried on all these years and permits us to have these beautiful gardens at a relatively minimal cost for the town of Raymond. Sharon, of course, is from the very beginning somebody who was instrumental in the project. She and her husband owned the hardware store, the True Value hardware store, and she was out there, improving that property, for years before the beautification efforts. So I think she's somebody who's always been interested in and involved in community beautification, and certainly their property was very well kept.
We had the True Value store up the street here. That's now the Paris Farmers Union. We were there for 28 and a half years. And the 302 Improvement Project went in 2003, and they changed a lot of the gardens on our property, as well as added about 70 gardens throughout the 302 corridor. And so we just started growing, and we could see there was a need for maintenance. And so we started the Walk and Weed program, and that spring, as soon as the snow melted, we got out there and started cleaning the salt and sand off the gardens, and with the help of Dick Sanborn, who was the landscaper for the town at the time, putting in mulch in each garden that we weeded. But it's evolved into a Friday morning get-together we start at the Veterans Memorial Park, and we work with, usually 5 or 6 people show up, and we work here to neaten everything, and then we go on to 2 or 3 other gardens, or sometimes we work through several gardens. We have a contact list of about 20 people, and those are the people who get my weekly emails. And so anyone on that list might show up any given Friday to work with us, or on a special project day. We have Elisa, and she joined us about 11 years ago, and she's a master gardener, and she has a background as a florist, so she has a lot of design skill, and she helps us all the time deciding what might work in different places. We had to remove a lot of plants because they weren't doing well or because they were too hard to maintain, and she was very instrumental in deciding what we got to replace them.
My involvement with the Raymond Beautification Committee began back in 2008 when a friend of Sharon Dodson's, Eileen Stiles, approached me asking if I might be interested. I think she knew I was a gardener, so she knew that was a good person to ask. And that's how I got involved. At the time, I was very much involved with a master gardener project, so I was unable to join the group until that fall. Being a master gardener gives me insight into some of the scientific principles that actually go into gardening, insect control, what kind of soils we're dealing with, what kind of plants we need to use. I don't think it gives me any more experience in gardening in this area. I came from the Midwest and brought my master gardener background here from there, so I learn a lot too from those who have gardened in this area before I joined the group. I've gotten a great deal of satisfaction of working with other members of the committee from the town. We've also had volunteers show up from Gorham and Naples, and so we're pulling in people who are interested in learning how to make their towns look nice too. And that's very rewarding. Well, volunteering also allows one to feel some sort of an ownership of what has been done along the project as you drive down through town. and you've seen the work that you've put into a garden, you can say, okay, well, I've done something for the community that's meaningful. And giving back through your own work, believing that what you do does make a difference, because it does. We get so many comments about how nice it looks, and that's because of what people give back to their own community.
We do need volunteers, and there are several ways to get in touch with us if you'd like to join us. First, come down any Friday morning at 8 o'clock from now throughout the rest of the summer, and we're right here ready to work, and you can talk to us and find out what we do. Another way would be to call Sue Look, the town clerk. She's our spokesperson up there, and her phone number is 207-655-4742, extension 121. And we have a Facebook page, Raymond Beautification Committee, and you can message me through that. You can also see some pictures of all the work we've done back to 2004, get an idea of what kind of projects we're involved in. Donations can be made to the Raymond Beautification Committee. You make out the check to Town of Raymond and just say for Raymond Beautification Committee. We really do need a lot of contributions to make everything prettier. The more money we have, the more pretty annuals and decorations we can get.